Picture this. It's midnight, your exam is in 9 hours, and your notes look like they were written by a total stranger. Today, I'm showing you how students actually use Claude to study smarter, with real techniques and real prompts, all completely free. Let's get into it. Here's the roadmap for today. Understanding difficult concepts, building study guides and practice tests, getting essay feedback the ethical way, tackling math and dense research papers, and planning your whole exam season. Every prompt appears on screen, so you can pause and copy anything you like. Quick setup if you're brand new. Claude is an AI assistant made by Anthropic. Go to Claude AI, sign up with any email, and you're in. The free plan is genuinely enough for daily studying, and there's a mobile app for both iPhone and Android. Before any prompts, the mindset that separates students who improve from students who don't. Treat Claude as a tutor, not a vending machine for answers. Copying an answer feels productive, but nothing sticks. Having Claude coach you through a problem builds the understanding that exams actually test. Anthropic leans into this with Claude for Education, used at universities like Northeastern, the London School of Economics, and Champlain College. Its learning mode responds to questions with guiding questions, Socratic style, instead of handing over solutions, and you can ask for that same style on any account. Let's start with the biggest use case, concepts that refuse to click. Say thermodynamic entropy is melting your brain. Instead of rereading the chapter for the 4th time, have Claude explain it at 3 different levels, with an analogy pulled from something you already understand. Here's the exact prompt. Explain entropy 3 times, to a 12-year-old, to a college freshman, and at exam level. Use a cooking analogy. Then follow up with, which part do students usually misunderstand? That follow-up question is absolute gold before a test. Now flip it around with the Feynman technique. You explain the concept back to Claude, in your own words, as if you were the teacher. This instantly exposes where your understanding is fuzzy, and Claude will catch gaps you had no idea were there. The prompt, here's my explanation of entropy. Grade it like a strict professor. Point out anything wrong, anything missing, and anything I explained better than my textbook. Then quiz me on my weakest spot. Run this once a week and watch what happens to your grades. Next up, turning chaotic lecture notes into real study material. Paste your raw notes, typos and all, or snap a photo of handwritten pages, because Claude reads images. Then ask it to reorganize everything into a clean, structured study guide built around what's most testable. Try this one. Turn these lecture notes into a study guide. Key definitions first, then core ideas ranked by how likely they are to appear on an exam, then 3 tricky questions a professor might ask. Suddenly, your worst notes become your best study asset. Flashcards are next, and Claude generates them in seconds. Ask for question and answer pairs from any chapter or topic, and specifically request cards that test application, not just definitions. Definition-only cards create a false sense of security. Application cards are what exams reward. And here's the real in-game, practice exams. Give Claude your topic list and ask for a timed practice test in your professor's style, mixing multiple choice with short answers. Studies on retrieval practice are clear. Testing yourself beats rereading by a wide margin. This prompt changes everything about how you quiz yourself. Quiz me 1 question at a time on photosynthesis. Wait for my answer before continuing. If I'm wrong, don't tell me the answer. Give me a hint and let me try again. It feels exactly like a patient tutor. Why does this work so well? Because struggle is the point. When Claude makes you retrieve an answer from memory, and then lets you fail safely and retry, you're doing active recall, which cognitive science consistently ranks as the most effective study method known. Rereading just feels safe. Now the touchy subject, essays. Here's the line. Claude brainstorming with you, ethical. Claude writing your essay, plagiarism, and modern detectors plus your professor's familiarity with your writing make it a terrible bet. So let's use it the smart way, starting with beating the blank page. For brainstorming, describe the assignment and ask for 10 possible thesis angles, ranked from safest to most original. Then pick one and ask, what's the strongest objection to this thesis? Now you have an argument and a counter-argument before you've written a single sentence. Once you've written a draft yourself, Claude becomes your writing center with no appointment needed. Paste the draft and the assignment rubric and ask for feedback the way a tough teaching assistant would give it, specific, structural, and honest about what's weak. Use this. Here's my draft and the rubric. Don't rewrite anything. Instead, give me the 3 weakest points in my argument, any paragraph where my logic jumps, and 1 question my professor will definitely ask that I haven't answered. That last part is scary accurate. One hard warning before we move on. Citations. Never ask Claude to generate a bibliography from memory, because AI models can fabricate convincing-looking sources that don't exist. Find real sources through your library or Google Scholar, then let Claude help you format and organize them. Speaking of papers, here's a superpower for research-heavy classes. Upload a dense academic PDF straight into the chat, and Claude reads the whole thing. 20 pages of jargon becomes a conversation you control. This works brilliantly for journal articles, textbook chapters, and lab papers. My favorite version of that prompt: summarize this paper in plain English, then tell me the research question, the method, the key finding, and the main limitation, each in one sentence. Then, what would my professor most likely put on an exam from this? Math and problem-solving classes now. The trap is asking for the solution, nodding along, and learning nothing. Instead, show Claude your actual attempt, including the step where you got stuck. Then ask it to diagnose your thinking rather than replace it. The prompt looks like this: here's the problem, and here's my work so far. Don't solve it. Tell me if my approach is valid, find my first mistake, and give me a hint for the next step only. You stay the one doing the math, which is the whole point. Taking your first programming class, Claude is a phenomenal coding tutor. Paste an error message and ask what it means in beginner terms. Ask it to add comments explaining a confusing function line by line, or have it review your working code and suggest cleaner habits early. Language students, this one's for you. Claude will hold a conversation in French, Spanish, Japanese, dozens of languages, at exactly your level. Ask it to reply simply, correct your grammar gently after each message, and slip in vocabulary from this week's unit. Daily practice, zero judgment. Now, let's zoom out to exam season strategy. Cramming works against your biology. Spaced repetition, reviewing material at growing intervals, works with it. Claude can build you a complete spaced study calendar in about 10 seconds, tailored to your exact exam date. Here it is. My biology exam is in 14 days and covers these 5 topics. Build a daily study plan using spaced repetition, 45 minutes per day, with self-testing every 3rd day and a full mock exam on day 12. Paste your topics and go. For the semester as a whole, paste in every syllabus at the start of term and ask Claude to merge all your deadlines into one master timeline, flagging the crunch weeks where 3 things collide. Knowing week 9 is brutal in advance is how you beat week 9. If you upgrade to a paid plan, the projects feature is made for students. Create 1 project per course, load in the syllabus and your notes, and Claude remembers that context in every conversation. Ask a question in your Bio 301 project, and it already knows the course. Group projects, everyone's favorite nightmare. Claude turns a vague brief into a task breakdown with fair role assignments, drafts the meeting agenda, and afterwards turns your messy discussion notes into action items with owners and deadlines. Send that summary to the group chat and become a legend. Presentations, same story. Give Claude your topic and time limit, and ask for a slide-by-slide outline with 1 key message per slide, plus a spoken opening line that isn't, hi, our topic today is. Then rehearse by having Claude fire likely audience questions at you. Let's talk academic integrity properly, because it matters. Every school, and even every professor, draws the AI line differently. Some encourage it, some ban it outright. Read your syllabus, ask when unsure, and when it's allowed, disclose how you used it. Protect your degree. And a permanent habit: verify before you rely. Claude is excellent, but like every AI, it can occasionally state something wrong with total confidence. For facts, dates, formulas, and anything graded, cross-check against your textbook or lecture notes. Trust but verify, especially at exam time. One more study weapon: your phone. The Claude mobile app means the bus ride home becomes a quiz session, and voice mode means you can talk through flashcards while walking to class. Those dead 15-minute gaps between lectures quietly add up to hours every single week. 3 mistakes to avoid. 1. Outsourcing thinking instead of strengthening it, which shows up brutally on exam day. 2. Pasting assignments and submitting whatever comes back. 3. Never pushing back. Claude respects follow-ups, so ask why, demand sources, request another angle. The conversation is the value. Quick recap of your new toolkit. 3-level explanations, the Feynman Grade My Explanation Loop, study guides from messy notes, patient 1-question quizzing, tough TIA essay feedback, the stuck-step math rescue, PDF paper deconstruction, and a spaced 14-day exam plan. That's a complete study system, and it's free. If this helped, subscribe and hit the bell, because Claude Daily drops a new tutorial every single day. Tomorrow's episode is a big one: how to make Claude read and analyze PDFs and contracts for you, clause by clause. See you tomorrow, and happy studying.